Welcome back, folks. I started in on a project I've been wanting to do for a while. Not a very big project, but a project that's going to have a big impact in safety and efficiency. What even is it? It is a 4-foot by 8-foot outfeed table for my little DeWalt Jobsite table saw. Man, people knock hard on those table saws, but I like it. They're so inexpensive. I haven't had this one for super long. Well, no, that's not true. I've had it for about 3 years, but it does everything I want it to do. And here's the thing. I've got space. This is in the process of being cleared out. This is going to be the wood area. And I have a lot of wood projects that I want to get on right away. One of them is involved ripping sheets of plywood into trim panels about this wide. And it's so hard to do by myself. And the kids have school, they've got this, they've got that. I've got room. I may as well get one of these too. And this is gonna be my work companion. So there's nothing real crazy going on here. Essentially, we're at the point right now, I simply ran out of 2x4s. So we're gonna whip into town, pick up some 2x4s. I picked up these heavy duty casters. These things are phenomenal. I don't know if, well, you can't tell. You're looking at something on a video, you can't tell, but as soon as you grab hold of these, it's like, whoa, that is a nice caster. So 6 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll put some shelving in here. It'll be nice under here. I can also store things like my jointer, probably even stuff like my little circular saw. I keep this under that workbench right now, but it makes sense to have it here because if ever I'm going to be cutting something, I'll probably be doing it on this table. But anyways, we are going to head out, brave the smoke, and go get some more wood. Look at that. Yesterday it was all blue skies, and it smells like you're like right beside a campfire, and it actually hurts. Your throat gets sore. I don't know if this thing will do it justice, but so this field right there, that's my parents' field. And you can't even, like even this morning I could see the end of it. You can't now. You need a mask on there, cat. Good day to be doing indoor projects. Like, look at that. I don't know if this camera's gonna do it justice, but even in here, in my truck, I mean, granted this is an old truck and it probably doesn't have great cabin filtration, but it feels like there's a campfire going on in my truck. And it's starting to give me a headache. This is gross. All right, so we've got our wood. I'll show you kind of where we're at now. I need to put in a cross brace here and support it down to here. So obviously we cut this out, and then I'm gonna put a cross brace right across here, and then I need to cut this slot out because this right here, this piece of aluminum is what the fence slides back and forth on. So I need to cut this out in this direction, and I'll probably put another 2x4 behind this one, and then I need to cut it out in that direction because essentially right now it's hitting there, and it's hitting there. Obviously at the front, they don't have to worry about that because I can clear it, but this needs to be able to come over there. Now I offset this thing so that if I am ripping a full 4x8 sheet, basically, even if I were to rip something almost 4 feet or even a full 4 feet, if we go right from the blade to there, it would still balance itself on the table. So we're at like 32 inches, so it wouldn't fall off this side of the table. And then if we were to go 2 feet on the side of this, so that's at about 2 feet, we're only like 7 inches off there. So what that will allow me to do is if I need to cut a 4x8 sheet like right down the middle, I can do that, and it will be supported on each side. The worst with these small little saws is that they're small, and before when I would cut something, I'd push it through, and depending on how much you're taking off, right at the very end when the boards are trying to fall, you're trying to wrestle them. It's incredibly dangerous because I've got a spinning blade right there, but it's just a very uncomfortable way to work. So this is gonna be fantastic. So this will be 36 inches high, And then I think I'm gonna put this polyacrylic finish on, just so that, you know, if water ever gets on here, it's not gonna swell, and then it also will make it nice and smooth, so that feeding boards, sliding them on, will be pretty easy. Still need to do a whole bunch of cross bracing in here. I just put this on top so I could cut out my opening for the table saw. So the rest of the wood that we got is gonna be for cross bracing. Probably going to end up taking a little piece of hose and bringing it here with a port. That way I can hook up my dust collection to it. I was thinking about just permanently mounting a shop vac in here, but I don't think that's gonna work very good. The old pocket hole, the finest construction method around. That's how the Amish make their furniture. Pocket holes. And with the top off, I can add the rest of the cross pieces on the top and the bottom. I glued the ends of them and then screwed them in through from the outer plate there. And then I had my son help me move it before it got too heavy. And then right here, I just cut up some blocking to give extra space for the caster plates to fit on. And then to mount the casters, I used a 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch leg bolts. I pre-drilled the holes and then just used my little impact driver to crank those suckers in. Got a good bite on all 4 holes in the caster plate. Then we'll put the top on, make sure we like where it's at, and screw it down. And then to cut out that little clearance slot for the fence system, I used a straight edge, and I tried a couple different techniques. The first one was with my plunge router and just a plunge bit. That worked kind of okay. Ultimately, it didn't get me deep enough, so I ended up having to switch out to my circular saw and ended up just cutting a bunch of grooves in there and kind of took it all out with a chisel, and that ended up working pretty good. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but it's functional. And once I'd taken care of getting that done, we screwed everything down, and then I started putting a sealer on it. This was just some acrylic that we had. I think if I were to do it again, I'd probably use a lacquer, but I think this will work for now. And then right about now, the battery dies. Oh well, it's just painting. Yeah, thrilling. And with that done, I can start cutting up the wood that's going to make up the bottom shelves. This is just 1/2 inch standard plywood. For the rest of this project, it's mostly just a bunch of cutting some braces. Wanted to box in kind of that saw area so that the sawdust wouldn't go everywhere and like underneath into these shelves. So ended up cutting some blocking, had to trim some stuff down with my my joiner, and kind of monkey piece this whole thing together. I had a gentleman on Instagram ask if I had plans for this or if I was selling plans for this, and I never ever work from plans. And it was later on in this project that I realized, you know, plans might be kind of nice once in a while, but oh well, at the end of the day, it's all said and done, it's all functional, and I'm absolutely loving it. Even for what little I've used, this is just so handy. And this is the part that would have really helped if I had some plans. I would have had a little forethought to put this piece of plywood in here before I put the top on.
or before I built a little frame for the table saw to actually sit on, because I ended up having to cut this wall here into pieces. I had to put little backer pieces in there. And so this thing ended up being made of 4 different pieces of plywood. Kind of looking at this footage now, it cracks me up, but it's going to work. It's going to prevent dust from getting in there, and whatever. It's done. All right, I'm going to call this finished for now. Might end up doing some shelving, custom shelving, but kind of want to start putting stuff in here, seeing how this works with different projects, different workflow. I was thinking about turning this into a shelf, but I might not do that. And this wall here was just to keep the dust out. I might end up caulking it if I get a lot of dust coming in here, but just to keep all the exhaust on that side. And then that's also what this wall was for. And yeah, it's working out really good. I'm happy. You know, you get a cheap little saw like this, I'll spend some time, some money making a decent stand, and I think it's pretty good. So these casters are working great, and I'm quite enjoying this. With what little I've used it, I think this is going to be a worthwhile project. And after it was all said and done, I was absolutely shocked at how easy this is to maneuver. Really, it takes very little input to get it going, and moving this around the shop is just so easy, and that's obviously due to having good, high-quality casters. And again, I thank Princess Auto for sponsoring this video, for allowing projects like this to happen, and always having a great selection of those useful things like casters, fasteners, and all the fun stuff. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.